Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here, Empire Engine from AEG. And it's a micro game, as you can see here. It's all contained in this little pouch right here, where you are trying to generate the most goods, soldiers, and inventions, and score the most points. 1 point for each of those little cubes, and then you also get bonus points for having the most of a certain color. So let's get down to the table, and I'll show you what I mean, and you can see what you think. In a game of Empire Engine, the whole point of the game is to get the most points. Points are awarded for each cube that you have in your score pile at the end of the game. A game is going to go a number of 9 rounds with the possibility of longer game variants that will go 10, 11, and 12. So what you would have here, you get 1 point for every cube in your score pile at the end of the game, and then you also get a bonus 3 points for having the most of one of the different colors. Yellow cubes are goods, red cubes are soldiers, and blue cubes are inventions. During a round, you have 2 things that you can do. You plan what your engine is going to do, and then you execute what your engine is, what you have planned for your engine to do. So quite frankly, you would take your 2 gears and you would choose which one will go to which engine, and the number, the big number here, determines how many clockwise rotations your engine will take, and whichever one is at the top is the action that will be executed in the second part of the round. So, for example, if this were how I planned to run my engines this round, 1 means that this would be turned 1/4 turn clockwise like this, and then this one would be turned 2 clockwise turns like so. Then the actions would be done in order from top to bottom. So these 3, the circle actions take place first, and then the triangle actions take place, and then the square actions would take place. So for example, here I would have an arm. Arm says that you add 2 soldiers to your ready pile. So I would take 2 red cubes and add them to my ready pile here. All right, and then if anybody else did theirs, they would go ahead and do it. And then we come to the triangle actions, and triangle action, this one basically means that I would attack. So I have to have at least 1 soldier to be able to support that attack. So I would return it to the stockpile, and then I would be able to attack. Since it's on my right hand, I would attack the player to my right and basically take one of his goods or cubes here and add it to my score pile immediately. Now, it is possible for him to have played a defend, and if that is the case, then the attack would be unsuccessful, and instead he would take a soldier from his from the stockpile and put it into his score pile. So you have a ready pile over here, you have a score pile over here. Now, when you're choosing your gears and which engine they're going to go on, you do have a little bit of a variant here. It has a large number here, then it also has a small number down here. This number is what it will normally happen. So, for example, if you choose to place these guys face down like this, as you would on your planning turn, you can put a good or a token, a soldier, on the card so that when you flip it over, you are able to use the alternative number rather than the big number. If no soldier or good is added to it, you just simply default back to the large number and you don't get to use this number. But that's what the second number is for. It's an alternative in case you wanted to do something other than the large numbers up here. So since we used this, instead of having this rotate once, it would go no rotation, which means it would stay on the attack icon here. Each of the different things is very simple, actually. If you choose to arm, you simply add 2 soldiers to your ready pile so that you can use them for attacks and so forth and so on. You can produce, which adds 2 yellow cubes or goods to your ready pile, which allows you to use them for other things. You can also invent, which means you take 1 invention or blue cube and add it directly to your score pile. So those are the 3 circle actions. The triangle actions are where player interaction really comes into effect. You can attack using 1 soldier from your ready pile for each attack that you plan, or you can defend. So if this person has that here, it would be able to block 1 attack coming from one of its neighbors. If both neighbors had attacked, the person being attacked gets to choose which attack actually succeeds. Then you move down to the square actions, and you can export, which means that you take all your goods from your to your score pile. So if you had a number of goods over here in your ready pile, you could play the export and move them all over to your score pile at the same time. Or you could play a salvage action, which means that you can take 1 of any kind of cube and add it directly from the stock into your score pile. And so those are the different kinds of actions that you're trying to do throughout the course of the game. Keeping in mind, though, that all the entire point is to score as many cubes in your ready pile as possible, and there is a little bit of a set collection aspect there where you will get a bonus 3 points for each kind of good or kind of cube that you have the most of compared to the other players. And then after the end of 9 rounds, the game is over. You calculate how many points everybody has. The one with the most wins. And then if there is a tie for the number of points that the person has at the end of the game, we look at the ready pile. Whoever has the most cubes in their ready pile is actually the winner. If the game is still tied after that, the people who are tied share the victory. There are some additional variants to the game. You can, as I briefly mentioned earlier, you can play to 12 rounds instead of 9, which accounts for a longer game. Or you can flip over your card here, and each card has a different kind of special power to it, and so you can actually have player powers in the game as well. These are all optional, of course, and then you can also play with more than 4 players if you have more than 1 copy of Empire Engine. So there are rules that delegate that as well. So a somewhat diverse, quick little filler game that some people will probably enjoy. So that's Empire Engine from AEG. Really, it's kind of a very simple, smooth game that really goes very, very fast, especially with the 2-player game. Goes really quick, much quicker than you would expect, even with 9 rounds. With 4 players, it's a little bit longer, of course, because you're adding those extra 2 players, but it still has the same smoothness, the same brevity that you would expect from such a micro style game. With that having been said, this feels more like a mechanic that should be in a game rather than a game in and of itself. It really doesn't feel like a game. It just feels like you're producing resources to score them. And that's really about it. Being able to attack your other players and that type of stuff, there is that level of interaction there, but at the same time, it seems like it is simply an incomplete game. Now, couple of things that you need to probably watch for as you're playing the game, because I do recommend that you try it, is making sure that you don't run out of resources, because if you don't have the resources that you need to carry out the actions that you want, then you can't carry them out. So that leaves you high and dry, having to choose something that you probably would not think is very advantageous for you to do at that certain point. So not running out of resources is very important for this game / mechanism. Sometimes I think this game might actually devolve into somewhat of a 4-player solitaire game where people are not really attacking each other because it is risky, and just trying to churn out the most resources that they possibly can. So there is that as well. For me, I'm just going to give it a straight across the line, no thumbs up, no thumbs down, because it's a decent mechanism, but I think it needs to be inside a larger game for it to really shine. So that's that. Not great, not bad either. Just kind of, okay, that was kind of fun. We'll see you on the flip side, folks.